Hello DIY team. Today we're working on this project of making this laundry shelf that goes over our front load washer and dryer. This shelf is much needed because we don't have much storage in this room, and today we're going to show you exactly how we did it. This folding station here has a cutout in the back so that we can still access the water valves as well as the return hose, and I have another notch in the far corner to allow for that hose to come up. This folding station is made to just sit on the supports that we put on the wall. That makes it easy to move so that you can clean or do maintenance down here. And we also have this front fascia board also to hide those supports on the wall so you don't have to see those.
DIY with Chris, giving you the tools to do it yourself. Today on DIY with Chris.
Hello DIY team. We're going to start going over some of the components that we have as well as the general layout and dimensions of the folding station that I just showed you. 27¼ inches deep, 59¼ inches wide. So how we're actually mounting it to the wall is we have the strips that are attached to the wall. And then there's one on the back wall as well. And then this sheet, this actual folding platform, is going to sit right on top of it. And then we're going to go ahead and put a fascia board on it as well that'll come down here and cover all this. So we went to Home Depot and picked up these boards. They're 6 feet long by 9¼ wide. So we're going to use these as our main platform. These are what we're going to be using. We bought 2 of these as the wall supports. These are 2½ by 8 feet long. So we're going to go ahead and start preparing these. We're going to start measuring and cutting these support brackets to go on the walls. We're going to go ahead and get started now. We've now measured all of our folding surface pieces, which is 4 feet 11 5/8 inches. And so we've marked all those off. We're now going to cut the 4 pieces to make that folding surface. Then we'll start working on assembling them, putting them together, sanding them down flat and everything. I'm now going to start cutting the side and back supports for this folding board. So I'm going to be doing that at 2 feet 3 1/16 inches. Once I get done cutting these 2 side pieces, then I'll go ahead and measure out the back portion and we'll cut that one as well. Now that we've had the pieces cut, I'm going to start sanding the support brackets. We are going to, on the back left corner here, back here, we are going to leave a little bit of a notch here. This notch back here is where the actual hoses feed through. So you have the actual water lines and then the return hose. The next thing I'm going to do now is start working on our actual folding surface tabletop. In order to start connecting all these, I'm going to use some biscuit joinery. I've marked on the surfaces here, so I've marked every 1 foot. Every 1 foot I put that mark there, and that's where I'm going to do my biscuits. So I'm going to go ahead and cut those biscuit slots right now. Once I've cut the biscuit slots, then I'm going to go ahead and put the glue on and then start clamping this down, and we'll leave it to dry. And then after it's done drying, we're going to go ahead and come back, make sure that all the edges are completely smoothed off, and sand it and make it a really nice surface before we put the actual stained sealant on there. The biscuits that I'm going to be using today, because these are such big pieces, I'm going to go ahead and do the 10s to connect these as well. I'm going to go ahead and just dry fit these and test them to make sure that everything was cut properly. We have all of our biscuits cut, and so we have the dry fitting in, so there are 4 biscuits on either side. and it's sitting pretty nice right now. So right now I'm going to go ahead and start the gluing process. Now that we have it clamped, we're just going to let it dry, and once it's done drying, we're going to go ahead and come back and we're going to start sanding it and making this a nice tabletop finish. At this time we have finished sanding our tabletop, and we have cut out a few notches. So this notch right here is for you to actually reach in and turn on and off the water supply. And this notch right here is for the hose. On the bottom of this, I'm going to cut some dados going on every edge. And those dados, what they're going to allow is when I mount these pieces to the wall, when I put this tabletop in, it'll sit right onto those and it'll sit nice and secure. After we've cut those slots out, then I'm going to go ahead and finish sanding. Finished sanding a lot of the side pieces, the trim pieces. We cut them to size, and so everything's been fitted, dry fitted appropriately. I rounded all these edges to give it more of like a butcher block type feel, which is kind of what we were going for. These three pieces now will actually mount to the wall, and then we can go ahead and place this on there. So we are going to anchor them very well. We're going to make sure that the surface is nice and clean, and we're going to go ahead and start the staining process. So I'm going to stain each piece separately, and then after I'm done with that, I'm going to go ahead and start assembling it back together. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get my front fascia board on. It's the next morning here, and we're getting ready to get started again. So I've taken off all the clamps. This front fascia board is very solid, so I'm very happy with how that went. It's only dried overnight, doesn't need a full 24-hour cure time, so it won't be completely finished until tonight. But it looks really great, and it's very solid already. And again, just a reminder, I already did do the pin nails with our nail gun as well. So what we're doing now is I'm coming back, and I'm seeing there's still a little bit of a lip in places right here. So I'm going to take my sander, and I'm going to go back over that, make that nice and flush. And then there is a bit of a gap in some of these places too, because that board was crowned. So I'm going to go ahead, and after I have it all nice and smooth and flush, I'm going to take this wood filler and fill in those gaps. Once that wood filler has dried, which should only just be a few hours before I can apply another coat of stain, one last coat of stain over this entire thing, and then we'll move on to the polyurethane to give it that nice finish. So we'll do that, the polyurethane for both this piece and the trim pieces, and then we'll go ahead and start mounting it inside. As always, I hope that you enjoyed our video today and that it is able to help you create a masterpiece of your own that fits in your lifestyle. If you did enjoy the video, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel, and as always, have a great DIY day.
DIY with Chris, giving you the tools to do it yourself. Today on DIY with Chris.